Obedience to authority is a tendency people have to try to please those in charge. Psychological evidence indicates that people tend to respect and follow those whom they perceive to have legitimate authority. This can be lead to trouble if it causes people to fail to exercise their own independent ethical judgment. Most people can anticipate their superiors' desires and may act to please them even without being asked. For example, when Toshiba needed to inflate its earning, implicit pressure from top officers was sufficient to induce division managers to misreport their earnings. Likewise, when Lance Armstrong, leader of his cycling team, signaled that the team needed to dope in order to successfully compete, his supporting riders quickly complied. So, willingness to follow instructions is generally a good thing. But blind obedience to those in charge can have unfortunate consequences when leaders lack ethical conviction themselves.
And perhaps the finest example of that is a Jonestown massacre which happened 42 years ago when nearly 1,000 people drank a cyanide-laced beverage following the orders of their leader Jim Jones. Despite knowing the fact, parents gave the deadly drink to their children and then drank it themselves. And within few minutes on November 18, 1978, 912 people were dead. Jones' followers originally came to the Jonestown seeking the paradise and an escape from racism, but instead they found something that resembled the concentration camps. Even 42 years later, social psychologists continue to scrutinize how Jones came to command such enormous influence over his followers' thoughts and actions. And through the research and interviews with the survivors, psychologists have found a parallel between the mind control techniques used by the Jones at the Jonestown, namely sophisticated type of compliance, conformity and obedience training. He also had his followers do practice suicide drills right up to the actual suicide event, and he used to call these rehearsals as white nights. The mind control techniques, coupled with the creation of new social environment, provided Jones with a powerful influence over his people, and he was able to gain their obedience and loyalty. But perhaps the most disturbing part is that the leader, such as Jones, appear to derive some of their techniques from psychological research, raising question about the research ethics. And indeed, Jonestown massacre serves as a warning to a social psychology community as what can happen when principles of influence are abused by the leaders such as Jones.